Want a lot of money but have no business experience? There is a solution by a machine. Right now, there's such a variety of production machines that you can simply plug in and start making your first money. I'll tell you about the most interesting and promising options that are suitable for absolutely anyone, without huge investments, and most importantly, without risks. And at the end, there will be a device that can only be called a money printing machine. Watch until the end if you want to fill your pockets. Cheese making machine. A very promising option for someone with any budget. There's a global trend toward healthy eating, as well as farm fresh and craft products. You can start with amateur models or buy a real workshop capable of producing tons of different types of cheese. There is steady demand both from large stores and from the private sector. You can distribute your products through social media. The main thing is to remember to take beautiful photos and highlight the quality of your ingredients. This will allow you to raise your prices several times over. According to statistics, hard cheeses remain the most in demand worldwide, so it's best to start production with them. This business is perfect for farmers, especially if they have their own livestock, which significantly reduces material costs for production. However, in practice, city dwellers also manage this successfully by purchasing the necessary materials in bulk from farmers. As for space, of course, you can't produce cheese in a garage, but you also don't need a huge facility. To produce about 100 kilograms of product per day, you need no more than 40 square meters. Therefore, rental costs will not be critical. And if you want to do something more serious, why not start making fasteners? A cold heading machine. Buy a cold heading machine. Why? This is a truly mature and high-margin business with a wide range of opportunities. Yes, currently in large cities where there are construction hypermarkets, it is difficult to compete because people are used to buying everything in one place. However, there are many sales channels. These include construction companies, crews, private clients, small construction stores, and others. With persistence and the ability to maintain competitive prices, you can find regular customers for your product. This is exactly what is key for small-scale production of such a high-demand product. One of the main components will be a machine for producing self-tapping screws. It's quite easy to find one on the market. Moreover, there are many variations from different manufacturers. They differ in power and in their ability to produce a certain amount of product per hour. For a beginner entrepreneur, it's worth starting with an affordable automatic machine. Prices for these start at 2 to 3 million, but you can consider the secondary market if you are knowledgeable about equipment. However, once you manage to find a steady customer base and start making a net profit, you can consider purchasing more productive equipment and setting up a full-fledged workshop. Nail making machine. And in addition to self-tapping screws, you shouldn't forget about nails, which in most countries are imported from China. Here, everything is the same as with the cold heading machine for self-tapping screws, only the equipment is even cheaper. Furniture factories are eager to buy quality products, not to mention construction sites, where you can always make a deal. A nail-making machine is practically a win-win option, and you can buy it for just 200,000 rubles, setting it up in a small garage if you don't want to pay for production space right away. Pellet press machine. Agriculture is actively developing all over the world, so the production of compound feed is a real goldmine. It can help you make money year after year. After all, it's not just livestock that eats compound feed, you can also produce high-margin food for chinchillas, hamsters, and rats, which are found in every other household. The main thing is to use eco-friendly packaging and add labels claiming it's the healthiest feed. During harvest season, we buy raw materials from farmers at rock-bottom prices, and by the end, we start putting compound feed up for sale, skimming the cream of the market. The cost of equipment ranges from 100 to 200,000 rubles, but these investments are fairly easy to recoup. 3D suites. I think you already know that the era of 3D printers began a long time ago. They are already being used to print even human organs. But since these technologies are still being perfected and are not yet widespread, an aspiring entrepreneur might consider something simpler. For example, producing sweets using 3D technology. Machines for making sweet delicacies in the form of stunning geometric shapes can easily be found on the Chinese market. The fact that this is still not a common novelty on the global market provides an opportunity to quickly find buyers for your products. It will be especially interesting to pastry chefs who strive to impress their clients with unconventional decorations. After all, what could be more festive than a bust of the bride on a wedding cake? Woodworking production is practically guaranteed to be profitable, given the demand for wooden materials in construction, which is comparable to the use of bricks or blocks. There are many companies on the market engaged in the construction of wooden structures. Moreover, the demand from end consumers for wooden materials for renovations or their own construction projects is also significant. The equipment is quite affordable. Even starting with a simple sawmill, you can gradually purchase other machines, turning your small business into a real carpentry workshop with huge profit margins. However, it is important to plan the organization of production in advance, especially in terms of the premises. Such bulky material requires a sizable warehouse with the necessary amenities. Just don't rush. Before making a purchase, you should thoroughly research the subject or consult with professionals if you are not an expert in this field. In addition, you should take into account several types of sawmills: circular, band, and frame. The choice will depend on the needs of your production. Oil press. Oil presses are specialized machines designed to extract vegetable oil from seeds and pits. They use various types of raw materials to produce oil: sunflower, cotton, soy, safflower, rapeseed, olives, palms, coconuts, as well as different kinds of nuts such as peanuts, beech nuts, pine nuts, almonds, sesame, and walnuts. In addition, oil producers actively process food industry byproducts such as cereal germs and pits from apricots, plums, peaches, pumpkins, grapes, and others. The resulting oil is widely used in the food industry, pharmaceuticals, perfumery, and various technical fields. You can work with organic cosmetics manufacturers or health food stores. The business is highly profitable, and the machine itself is actually quite inexpensive. CNC foam cutting machine. Foam processing is a promising area for a first business that relies on just a single machine. Foam is used to create a variety of decorative elements, products for pipe insulation, molds for concrete casting, packaging components, moldings, and much more. Foam is an affordable, versatile, and flexible material. Thanks to its light weight, large foam figures and letters can be easily mounted on walls and quickly replaced if needed. However, it is difficult to cut it cleanly with a regular saw or angle grinder, as this can cause the material to crumble. Therefore, to start production, especially for making 3D parts of complex shapes, it is necessary to purchase a specialized CNC foam cutting machine. Robot bartender. And if you want something innovative and for the machine to do all the work for you, then a robot bartender is an excellent choice. In fact, you get an automated station that will attract people simply by its very existence. After all, it's not necessary to serve alcoholic drinks. You can easily entertain children at various events as well. For example, the Barsys robot bartender, which is equipped with a holder for 5 bottles, is available for under 100,000 rubles. A more advanced barbot, capable of handling 12 bottles and mixing drinks in the right proportions to order, can cost around 650,000 rubles. This robot can prepare both simple and complex cocktails, providing up to 100 servings per load. Users can remotely order cocktails through such a device, without having to pay for hiring staff at their event. Engraving and CNC machine. And now the simplest and quite affordable machine which even a school student can afford, a CNC engraving device. You can engrave simply by uploading an image from your computer. The laser engraver will do everything for you. Prices for such devices start at a couple of $100. Everything mainly depends on the working area and engraving precision. For a very modest amount of money, we can start producing souvenir products, tap into the corporate sector, do engraving on laptop keyboards, not to mention jewelry and souvenir items. Tumbling barrels for polishing. Tumbling barrels are equipment used for polishing and restoring car rims. Abrasive material is placed inside the barrel, which performs the entire polishing process automatically. The choice of composition and grit size of the abrasive depends on the specific polishing task. The cost of Chinese equipment for these purposes starts at 300,000 rubles, while the average price for the service is about 3,000 to 4,000 for 4 rims. This business pays for itself in almost 6 months, even with a small number of clients. Dumpling machines and dumpling cookers. Who doesn't love dumplings? From a technological standpoint, the process of making and cooking them is quite simple. There is a wide range of dumpling making machines that allow you to automate this process in various sizes, capacities, and outputs. From more affordable manual devices for home use, which cost from 2,000 to 3,000 rubles and can quickly make dumplings for 2 or 3 servings, to complex production lines capable of producing hundreds of kilograms of dumplings per hour. But even if dumplings are quickly made by hand or with automated devices, they won't cook themselves. Therefore, if you are considering opening a small street food-style eatery, you can purchase an automatic dumpling cooker. This way, you both produce and sell the final product directly to the customer. In such a scenario, the profit margin skyrockets. Another surefire option is to buy an embroidery machine. They come in various types, from budget-friendly home solutions to full-scale production lines capable of embroidering dozens of items at once. It all depends on your needs and your budget. Your clients will include both individual fashion enthusiasts who want a beautiful design on their favorite sweatshirt, as well as the corporate sector. You can make emblems, logos, and certain types of merch, which allows you to take on large batches of standard orders if you're not particularly creative when it comes to high fashion. The machine itself will cost from 40,000 rubles, but more or less decent options start at 150,000. That is, if we're talking about business, not home embroidery. A shoe cover machine and a mask-making device? Yes, in recent years the whole world has been shaken by various diseases, so why not start a relevant business? Producing shoe covers doesn't require significant capital investment or expensive manual labor. To set up the process, you'll need granulated polyethylene and consumables like spunbond and elastic bands. Chinese machines for making shoe covers are highly productive and relatively affordable, which makes purchasing such equipment for shoe cover production a very profitable option for entrepreneurs. The price of these machines depends on their productivity and modifications, and can range from 700,000 to 1.5 million rubles. It's a similar story with masks, except the machine itself costs almost half as much. You can sell your products both through government contracts and directly to private clinics. Shoe covers are also often needed in sports clubs, which use them to save on cleaning costs. Drying chambers. And now, a business for people who love treats and beer. For making dried fruits or meat chips, you can find equipment to suit any budget and need, ranging from small machines that allow you to start a small home-based production to various complexes designed for large enterprises. The cost of drying equipment varies greatly depending on its capacity and features. If we're not talking about large-scale production, but rather about meeting the demand of a few dried fruit stores or a shop selling snacks for men, then a fairly modest budget of 150,000 rubles would be enough. Log splitter. The demand for split firewood among the population remains high. In many countries, there are still plenty of private homes that use stove heating. But don't think that firewood is only for those in need. There is a growing trend toward eco-friendly recreation. Resorts are specifically installing wood-fire tubs for spa treatments or building cozy houses with fireplaces. At the same time, the private sector is actively developing. This creates stable prospects for the development of the firewood splitting business. The operator must perform several key tasks. Saw the tree trunks, split them into logs using a special machine, and then pack the firewood into nets or other packaging. For this work, you can use a stationary machine with an electro-hydraulic drive which is installed in a garage or a dedicated workshop. You can put up ads in residential areas or call recreation centers to assess demand and going rates, and only then invest in equipment. Vertical printer for wall printing. And now, a very promising niche that I promised at the very beginning, where you can actually make really good money with just one device. There is a growing demand for creating unique designs in interior decor, both among private clients and commercial organizations. Not everyone can create a high-quality image, which is why vertical printers were developed. They allow you to make wall prints without needing an art degree. The cost of applying an image using vertical printers is usually less than 200 rubles, while the selling price of the artwork can be 20 times higher, which is still more affordable than the rates of some artists. Moreover, the printing speed is measured not in days or weeks, but in hours, and it doesn't depend on whether the artist is feeling inspired. Printing is possible on a variety of materials: plaster, metal, ceramics, brick, concrete, fabric, leather, wood, and glass. Wall printing services are ordered by private kindergartens, clubs, food service establishments, offices, public spaces, as well as owners of premises that have children's corners and play areas. The most affordable Chinese printers can cost from 270 to 300,000 rubles. Draw your own conclusions. The payback here is simply lightning fast. You don't have to be an engineer to set up a full-fledged production and start making money from it. Thank you for watching.